Power over others is flimsy. Power over oneself is fortress. I have known rooms where a single voice chilled the marrow of 20 men, where the cough of a superior could cancel a season of work, where the slightest frown carried the gravity of a verdict. You think your era invented the difficult boss because you dress him in ergonomic chairs and dashboards. I have seen his ancestors in purple and in plain cloth, in Senate and shop, at the tribunal and the counter. The uniform changes. The pressure does not. Yet even in the shadow of tyrants, I kept my reasoning intact. And this is what I offer you, not a trick to tame another's nature, but a discipline to govern your own. A hard superior can be a misfortune, but fear is the greater harm, for it corrodes your judgment from within and makes you poor, even while you keep your wage. So let us begin where control is honest. Ask yourself at dawn, what of this day lies within my power? Not your manager's mood, not the market, not the rumor that runs ahead of layoffs like dust before a storm. Yours are the lens you look through, the tone you choose, the questions you ask, the action you take when a path is chosen. Draw a clear line and spend your strength only on your side of it. This single act already weakens fear by depriving it of endless territory to haunt. Often fear thrives in vagueness. A tough boss is many species, the volcano who erupts and forgets, the needle who pricks with endless corrections, the phantom who disappears until the deadline yawns, the judge who finds fault like a profession, the gambler who changes direction with every headline. Before you can handle, you must name. Quietly classify the difficulty before you step into the room. With the volcano, our work is de-escalation and timing. With the needle, structure and preemption. With the phantom, initiative and decision memos. With the judge, evidence and alternatives. With the gambler, criteria and logs of decisions to anchor the boat. Notice that none of these require changing the person. They require changing your stance. You do not command the wind. You trim the sails. And the very same wind that once terrified you becomes a power. Begin with the body. For the body instructs the mind. Enter a tense meeting as a practiced actor enters the stage. Not to pretend, but to set your instrument correctly. Plant both feet. Let your breath deepen and lengthen. Drop your shoulders the width of one finger. Loosen the jaw so words pass without strain. This is not theater for others. It is medicine for yourself. Emotion obeys posture. Like a child follows a parent across a crowded street. A steady carriage persuades the heart that danger is manageable. And the voice will carry that memory into the room. If your boss storms, you need not mirror the weather. A mirror reflects. Better to be a lighthouse, unmoved. Practical, guiding without noise. Now to language, which must be both shield and bridge. Speak upward with economy. Your superior does not buy your words. You rent their attention by the sentence. Lead with the bottom line, not with the preface to the preface. Say, the risk is X. Our options are A and B. I recommend A because it solves the constraint at half the cost. The next step is to greenlight the pilot by Friday. This honors time and cuts a path through the jungle. When you are challenged, welcome it. Fear panics at challenge because it hears threat to self. Wisdom hears a chance to refine the blade. Answer the question asked. Then show you're working as needed. If you do not know, admit it and name the action to learn. There is no shame in ignorance honestly declared. There is ruin in bluffing that collapses at the first touch. Prepare before battle, and the battle becomes negotiation. I advise a small ritual which costs 10 minutes and pays the day. Before meeting with the difficult, take a blank page. At the top right, what do we need to decide today? Under it, write 3 options, each with 1 sentence of trade-off. Under that, write the single number that would define success in a stranger's eyes. Last, write the ask, what you need from your superior to move. This page is your anchor. It prevents drift into complaint and biography. It shows you are not there to be consoled or congratulated, but to carry work forward. If the volcano erupts, wait for the first wave to crash and return to the page. We still need to decide the vendor. Here are the trade-offs. My recommendation stands. You do not fight the tide. You step back onto stone. Fear loves to exaggerate consequences until everything feels like life and death. Reduce them to size. Ask, if this goes poorly, what is the immediate cost to the mission? And what is the recoverable cost to me? Not the imagined social death your mind enjoys staging, but the actual loss. Often it is smaller than the heart declares. Then practice the old Stoic exercise of premeditation of evils. Picture the worst in clean lines. The boss rejects your plan sharply. Your review sours. Even you are asked to leave. Now walk backward from that end and list the countermeasures you would take. Update your resume. Reach to 3 mentors this week. Open a small emergency fund. Map the 5 companies whose problems you can solve. Begin a weekday night skill, deeper analytics, writing clear briefs, a language the market wants. When a plan exists, the dragon shrinks. The mind that knows how it will behave in loss is brave in risk. And courage is noticed even by those who pretend only to chase results. But let us be frank, some superiors abuse. They move the goalposts, take credit, place blame like taxes on the powerless. How shall you act then? First, protect your character. Never lie. Never undermine. Never poison wells with gossip. Not because you are naive, but because reputation is your enduring asset, and it cannot be stitched together later from shredded acts. Second, document facts. After a conversation that yields a decision, send a summary with owners and dates. Do it as a servant of clarity, not as a clerk of prosecution. If the story is rewritten later, you have the earlier edition. Third, set conditional commitments instead of resentful refusal. Say, yes, we can hit Friday if we drop the second feature. Or, yes, I will join the late call if we move tomorrow's demo. You are not a wall. You are an engineer of trade-offs. Fourth, practice escalation as a craft, not a tantrum. Seek counsel first from a trusted peer or HR partner. Bring evidence, propose remedies, and speak of impact on the mission, not your pride. If remedies fail and the culture corrodes your integrity, exit with dignity. The Stoic does not cling to a burning house because his furniture is familiar. Economic uncertainty gnaws at the nerves and makes even kind leaders sharp. It turns hard leaders into iron. Fear management here requires a broader horizon. Tie your identity to virtues, not to a seat. You are not senior specialist of this narrow thing. You are honest, thorough, brave, and useful. These travel well between roles and industries. If the budget cuts you loose, what remains is what should have defined you from the start. Your ability to create clarity, to move outcomes, to steady teams. Work on these daily because they rise in value when markets fall. When you feed your virtues, your boss, however tough, becomes a context, not a captor. There is art in asking questions that free you from both groveling and defiance. When you sense a command is reckless, do not launch into a lecture on recklessness. Ask, what problem does this solve? And which metric would show we solved it? When priorities change weekly, ask, given last week's shift, which 2 items would you have me drop to focus here? When the critique rains down without shape, ask, can you show me an example of higher quality we can emulate? And what made it higher in your judgment? These questions force vagueness to become decision. They also signal that you are not resisting change but taming chaos into work. If your superior cannot or will not answer, you have learned something vital. The problem is not your courage, but their clarity. Adjust accordingly. You say you lack direction. A tough boss can actually help if you use their friction as a whetstone. Choose one virtue to practice for a month and make the superior the field where you train. If they rush, you practice precision under time. If they nitpick, you practice completeness without resentment. If they vanish, you practice initiative and status memos that make absence harmless. The point is not to please a personality, but to build a muscle. Muscles travel. Every hardship becomes tuition when you approach it as a class in character. Take notes on yourself like a scientist. What triggered me? What sentence calmed the room? What structure reduced rework? Where did my fear exaggerate a threat? Where did my pride demand applause? You are not at the mercy of the day when the day becomes your curriculum. Burnout is not only too much work, it is too little meaning and too much unresolved fear. To handle the hard superior, you must restore meaning and finish cycles of stress. Meaning, write plainly whom you serve and how your output helps. Put the note where your eyes touch it often, when you smell the boredom of pointlessness. Read it and adjust your tasks to align with it. Stress cycles discharge adrenaline with a short walk after heated conversations. Breathe until the heart de-escalates. Do one small action that advances the mission, so your body learns that threat was met with movement. Sleep like a strategist. Protect the hour before bed from blue glare and argument. Read a page of something older than your industry. Let the mind see continuity beyond quarterly noise. You are not a machine. You are the steward of a machine. Maintenance is not indulgence. It is duty. Let us talk style toward the difficult. Some think survival lies in flattery, others in open war. Both are easy and both are failures. Flattery buys a cheap peace that rots respect. War loses the war by making everything a battlefield. The middle path is frank, courtesy, respect in tone, firmness in content, helpfulness in proposals, constancy in follow-through. Imagine your role as a physician of the work. The patient may be irritable, but you still dress the wound, present options, and record the plan. You are neither servile nor theatrical. You are reliable. Reliability is astonishingly rare. Cultivate it, and even the unjust will secretly depend on you. Handle the moment of explosion with choreography. If you are shouted at, do not lecture on respect in the middle of the fire. You will only add oxygen. Withdraw your ego, not your presence. Let the torrent burn out while your face remains open and your notes continue. When a gap comes, give the summary. What I'm hearing is, we must cut scope to meet Friday, and quality is non-negotiable. I propose we drop feature 2. Extend QA by half a day, and ship with a clear bug backlog. I will send the new plan before lunch. You have turned heat into direction. Later, in private, you can address conduct with the clarity it deserves when you raised your voice. The team froze and quality suffered. I need us to disagree without flooding the room. I will do my part by surfacing risks earlier. Will you do yours by bringing feedback before the deadline? It may not reform a tyrant, but it marks your boundary and trains the respectful to gather around you. Because you fear the future, make deposits against it. A tiny emergency fund lowers the volume of threats. Ongoing relationships, mentors, peers in other firms. Former clients are bridges you can cross when the current one cracks. A visible body of work, whether in documentation, internal talks, or thoughtful memos, becomes your portfolio. These are not rebellions, they are prudence. The person who prepares options sleeps in peace and acts in strength. Paradoxically, the boss often softens when they sense you are not clingingly dependent, but steadily committed. People respect the free more than the cornered. Keep a compact with yourself about truth. Do not say something works when it does not. Do not promise what cannot be done without consequences named. Each small falsehood is a brick in a prison you will later inhabit. Courage in speech is not an invention of rebels. It is the routine of adults. But when you must say no, find the door that says yes, if. Because every organization runs on trade-offs. No, we cannot ship that many features by Friday. Yes, if we cut the scope and staff one more tester. No, I cannot run both projects. Yes, if we park the second until finance approves the headcount. This teaches your superior that you are not an obstacle, but a designer of paths through constraints. Practice the view from above when fear constricts the chest. Picture the building from the sky. Imagine the city, the traffic like blood through arteries, the homes where your colleagues will eat their dinners and tell old stories and laugh. Then pull farther to see rivers, seasons, the revolving earth, and understand the scale of your trouble. Not to belittle real stakes, but to place them within a larger order where your soul does not owe everything to the next half hour. From that height, bring back composure. It costs nothing. It changes everything. If you wish to draw strength from philosophy quickly, copy this short litany onto your heart and desk. I will meet each demand with the best in me. I will never spend outrage where a question will do. I will act on what depends on me. I will accept what does not. I will seek to leave every room clearer than I found it. I will measure success by usefulness and integrity. Then by applause. I will keep the long view even as I meet the hour. Repeat it until its letters shape your instincts. You do not need long treatises to practice wisdom. You need reminders placed at the gates of action. Remember to see the person behind the difficulty. A harsh superior may be frightened. A micromanager may have been burned before. A critic may be trying desperately to protect a mission they love. You are not required to be their healer, but seeing their humanity drains poison from your own veins. Speak to the part of them that cares about results and fairness. even if that part is shy. If the better part never answers, leave with your own intact. The Stoic loves the common good enough to endure discomfort for it. He does not love the yoke. Do not let fear turn you into a smaller version of yourself. When praise is hoarded, give it to your team. When credit is stolen, continue to credit accurately. When blame is promiscuous, take your portion and no more. In famine of grace, be generous. This is not martyrdom. It is investment in the only reputation that history respects a person whose usefulness did not require convenient weather. Offices forget targets and remember character. And if you want a simple closing practice for every hard day, do this. On your way home, rehearse 3 scenes, one where you kept your composure and made the work easier, one where fear grabbed the wheel, and one small action you will take tomorrow to strengthen the first and repair the second. Then, as evening opens, set the day down like a tool after labor. You are not paid to carry it into your sleep. You are paid to return capable tomorrow. True rest is an ally of courage. You cannot handle a tough boss with a brittle mind. You asked how to manage fear under a difficult superior. In the end, the counsel is simple enough to be memorized and strong enough to be practiced for a lifetime. Distinguish what is up to you from what is not. Prepare choices, not complaints. Breathe slow and speak precise. Turn criticism into criteria and requests into trade-offs. Protect your dignity by protecting the truth. Document decisions to free the future. Cultivate allies, options, and skills so that threats lose their leverage. See your role as service to the mission and your life as stewardship of character. Do this, and you will find that the hard boss becomes one more condition in which you thrive. The world is uncertain. The path is crooked. The hour is demanding. But you are not helpless. You are the craftsman of your response. Fear may knock at your door every morning, but answer with a practiced mind and a ready plan. Then let the day come. It finds you ready.